Too late. Welcome to Jack Dodson's Racing Insider News this week. We got our new graphic designer here.
Try to do one nice thing.
Since we're not smart enough to do it.
Apparently not.
Just trying to help.
But I am grateful for it. I'm telling you, we got a lot of hits on that. So I'm grateful for it.
I just had to throw that out there.
Well, we all know Scott.
I mean, I couldn't believe that somebody would think that I couldn't do it. I mean, I could do it. It may not look as good. I just don't feel like doing it. Right?
That's why we need a nice person to do it.
I know she's trying to stay there.
We have a witness. You just called me nice.
All right, we got to thank Papa John's for our food tonight.
And even Vaughan got a piece.
All right, finally. He's only been here 4 times. Presented by Smith Wraps and Graphics. I thank those guys for being on board this year. NC811. GAC, Great American Company. Bondurant's Brothers Distillery. One day Jack's going to go and get us another sample. Pepsi, Mountain Dew. Langley Speedway. Chuck, Vaughan, and those guys for allowing us to do the show here. I'm not saying that just because he's here. Factory Canopies, if you need, you need anything. You need some chairs or need a tent for your car. Those guys can take care of you. Tell them Jack and I sent you. Black Acid Apparel, if you need 1 shirt, 5 shirts, 1,000 shirts. MPM Marketing, if you need some help with social media, she can help you. Safety Clean and Performance Plus Motor Oil that Jack don't get anything from.
I get nothing from them. I mean, that's,
So with that, some exciting racing going on this weekend, Jack.
But how about the news today?
I did not see that
With
coming.
Tyler Reddick signing a contract that's not going to start till
For another year.
2024.
But it makes sense to the announcement that RCR said that they've exercised their right to have him in 23. And then today, that was what, Friday, Thursday?
What?
When RCR said they had signed him.
That they had exercised the option.
Yeah.
So that was a surprise, and I think he's. How do you drive for a team when you got 52 more races to go?
Kevin Harvick did it.
I know, but we're not
Talking
talking
a little
about
bit of difference.
we're not talking Kevin Harvick. We're talking Tyler Reddick. 2 weeks after he wins his first race, made the comment that this has been in the works for a while. Kind of like Vaughan's life.
That's a good one.
But I mean, that's what he said, and then after, it's hard to believe that. But I went back and looked. He was with Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, DEI. He was with them, Bill Jr. Won a championship and left. And understand, he did not leave on the greatest of terms. Okay, so
backed it up with another championship.
Yeah, then he went to RCR, got a championship. RCR has moved him up to a cup car. He gets his first win, and now he's leaving again. So I just, I find that.
Are you trying to say he's a pain in the?
I'm not trying to say nothing about anybody being a pain, but
I mean, you were saying about Erin the other week.
Well, no, and that was true, but
fair enough.
But now she's not.
Oh, okay.
She's mended her ways.
Is one thing. Brown nose.
I just got myself out of trouble. Don't be mad.
You got to do what you got to do, right?
But it is kind of interesting how all that's played out. And now, who does RCR? I mean, Richard said this was the worst time that this could have happened. There's not going to be a sponsor that's going to want to sign up now with them to go on Reddick's car because it's only a 1-year thing.
Well, I wonder if they already have sponsorship. And we know a few people in the garage, and we know that organization has been known to be a little tough to work for.
Yes,
there's
very tough to work for.
Micromanaging.
I mean, that even happens on the track. So yeah, but it's hard for me to believe that he did that. Anyway, it was some good racing. The truck, Parker Klingerman won the.
I know. What about
race.
that? Yeah.
A little old country team like his Charlie Henderson's team out there. That was unbelievable. I mean, that was a big deal. He outrun
Yeah,
them.
did you hear the audio of him talking to him after the race? I mean, you could tell he was crying, and I mean, it was cool to hear the emotion in people's voice of winning.
And then in the Xfinity race, we had Austin Hill to win the Xfinity race, which was a good deal. And some cat named Elliott won the Cup race.
Yeah, but I tell you, though, I think everybody was pulling for the 7 car there.
I definitely was. I definitely was.
LaJoy there. And that would have been way cool. I like how he said, I'm just not that experienced running up front to be blocking lanes and that kind of stuff. The things might have been a little different. Although I think I would have just hooked the 9 if I was him and went to the outside. I'd have just went for it. I mean, what do you got to lose?
You drive like that every weekend?
Sometimes.
Let's let that out of him.
You got to catch him first.
Just trying to be nice about my dig.
Hey, Kirk. Good to see you, man. Or good to see your name up there. But anyway, yep. And then there was no other racing hardly this weekend. I mean, it was very little racing.
Yeah, the rain.
Rain.
Mother Nature.
I think they got a race going on tonight somewhere. One of them special late model races from in the middle of the country. But I can't wait to get to Peasley this week. Going to go to Peasley and hang out at the dirt race. So that's going to be fun. I think it'll be something exciting. Vaughan said he went to the South Boston race and he liked it.
Can you talk him into bringing it here at Langley? Vaughan didn't do a good job at that. He said he tried, but.
Well, I could buddy up to somebody there, but then again, I might get arrested.
Yeah, you better not. They wouldn't even give him a pass for the grandson. They gave him a pass, so they're like, no, he can't get one.
Yeah, he can't get one from this. He said there's too much going on for him being in his field. So didn't let him come in. But he'll be in the stands watching, so that's all all right, let's get to Erin and see what all she's got going on.
A lot.
The new Ricky Smoot.
Old Smoot. He is a troublemaker. So
Well, you've been along good with him, then, huh?
we do get along very good. We get into a little bit of trouble. Just kind of glad Vaughan wasn't here for Ricky Smoot's debut. He's a handful. We are still trying to work on a deal to get him back in the car this weekend. Might not happen, so we might just have good old Rick Godovic in the car this weekend, taking care of it. Maybe he can get something done.
Well, I thought Ricky Smoot was a whole lot better than Rick.
That's what the people are saying, and that's what the people want. They want more Smoot. So,
So when are we gonna get him on the show?
hopefully maybe soon.
I want you to work on it.
gotta devise a plan to bust him out of prison.
Oh, he's in prison now.
Yeah, he's a troublemaker.
Oh, well, no, you can't come on furlough. They don't give you a furlough like
So
that.
we're working on a deal to get him out, and he wants some redemption against Matt. It's been kind of nice seeing Matt talk smack and get involved with it on Facebook. So it's a lot of fun happening. We again, it all kind of came about on accident, just having fun, and then we had all of this publicity and everything going on, and so I
It turned out to be a big
reached
deal.
out to Rick and I was like, hey, let's run with this. Let's make something of it. So on Wednesday, he gave me the okay for a shirt. By Thursday afternoon, I had worked with Tim over at Slinger, and we had a design sent to Rick. He approved it on Thursday evening, and Friday we had 60 shirts ready to go.
And then when he got out of jail in time to come to Victoria.
Yeah, we did bust him out in time for Saturday.
Don't say that.
Had a
Say
good time.
busted him out. People go to jail for saying busted him out.
Well, we got him out into the track, had a good time. We sold out of shirts. We are still taking shirt orders. And of course, a portion of the proceeds are going to the Cart Club out here at Langley. Want to support those kids and make sure they can continue doing what they like to do. I will be dropping a new Ricky Smoot design on Snap Mobile's Facebook page after the show tonight. So everyone can go and grab one of those. Same thing. those proceeds will go to the kart club too. And then we're hoping we can write a decent check to the kart club and make sure they can keep racing. And
Weren't
have
you a
some
little
support.
concerned, though? Weren't you a little concerned when you were taking pictures down there? I saw a bunch of pictures. And I saw Scott Allen in some of those pictures. Weren't you a little concerned that was...
Yeah, I was a fan.
Weren't you a little concerned to see him hanging around there and then people go, Ricky Smoot's got friends like that. I don't want to hang out with him.
No. I was prepared for Smoot to bring out all kinds of fans.
Oh, yeah, he brought out one there, that's for sure.
Very entertaining. We had a good time. And I mean, we had people stopping by the pits all day long, taking
How many
pictures.
shirts did you sell or have you sold?
We're probably closing in on like 150.
Mm.
And that's just with the original design. I think we're going to have the new design is pretty cool. It I think a lot of people are gonna like it, and we'll probably do another 150.
That's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, it goes for a good reason.
That's for sure.
$20 and supporting the local business. Slinger will be doing all of the shirts for us, and then we are giving the money right back to the kart club and helping those guys out. And again, it's all on behalf of Snap Mobile. We are working really hard to rebuild that platform and want to make sure, that we take our success and we're pouring it back into the racetrack and supporting the racetrack and the drivers. I mean, we all love it. We all want to do it. So we're looking forward to getting Snap Mobile back rolling and revamped and providing a lot of opportunities to our drivers and helping them out.
Very good. So what other kind of things you got going on? I know you're into everything.
That's about it. That has been what the past.
And then you
couple weeks.
Then you came on here with us and you're gonna be doing our week
Oh, you
thing.
putting her on the spot?
No, she already told me
We
that.
already talked about this. You weren't a part of it.
Shit.
Yeah,
I wasn't in
so-
on that meeting.
Yeah, so I mean that's just another thing that I do with Mayhem Management, whether it's hero cards or digital graphics or stories, stuff like that.
Oh, you do hero cards too?
You've seen the design, Jack. I mean, design. She doesn't physically print them or anything.
I don't print them.
Oh, never mind. I was thinking that was a pretty good deal
I
there.
mean, I can get them printed. I just don't have the printer to print them. So that's about it. So I'm working on dropping something new from Mayhem Management probably in the next month or so. I obviously can't manage and represent every driver, and I am to the point now I'm not taking on any new drivers. So this will be a way to help out others without them having to pay the full fee, and they can still elevate their social media and their branding.
Social media is a full-time job.
Yes.
I mean, I think a lot of people don't realize how much. I mean, ask Mark Works.
Yeah.
He does a really good job at it and doing well with his sponsors. I mean, we even had a conversation with him. He was talking about how, you don't realize like how much effort you got to put into social media to make sure that you stay out in front of things. And
It's a lot. And it gets to be a lot when you're doing it for multiple platforms. So you definitely got to stay on top of
So
it.
you're gonna be here this week for the modifieds.
I will not.
You're not gonna be here this week?
I will not. My modified guys are on their own this weekend. I will be in Dominion with Kyle Mister Motorsports. So,
Oh, for some reason you have to go hang out with him?
it's my top commitment.
Oh, okay.
That's family. They come first.
Okay, well, we'll let you slide this time. But anyway.
I'll still be watching and doing my job from Dominion. It's kind of comical when I have Kyle racing and then I have the modifieds racing, and usually the Bando run. So I've got Riley plus the 3 modified drivers. And so I've got my iPad set up on pit road and I'm trying to watch Kyle race and I'm trying to watch Langley. And then I've got my phone out trying to update everyone's socials.
That's hard to do when you're sitting up there watching the race. I was at Dominion watching the race, and I was trying to watch the race from here at Langley too. I said, this I can't do both. I can't get wrapped up in both of them at the same time.
well, you're not as smart as Erin.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you very much for having me. If y'all want something, y'all are both being nice tonight.
That was just a dig at Jack.
Okay.
Hey, well, I've already got you set up for a while. So.
You're gonna be kicked off this show soon.
So there's nothing else you got to tell us
That's
about?
it. That's all.
So we're gonna see Ricky Smoot back.
Is it going to be this weekend or depends?
I don't know. We'll have to check in with the ward and see how his behavior's been this week.
What prison's in you?
I can't disclose that information.
Well, I can find out. That's not a problem.
That's
Yeah,
you
Jack was-
finding out, not me disclosing.
Jack
There's
was
a
in
difference.
prison for like 20-some years.
30.
Get it right.
Wasn't in prison. I worked in prison for 30 years.
I'll just leave that part out.
The verbiage matters.
Yeah, it does. It does in that situation real quick.
It does at yours too, right?
Yeah.
So all I got to do is I still got people in high places in the prison system. So
So you're saying
So
you can like make a call to get them out so you can
That's
race
what
this
I'm
weekend?
thinking.
I can't make calls to get people out.
Just like a
I
temporary.
got something to say, but I think it would not be politically correct to say it right
Then
now.
don't say it.
I just don't think it'd be good. But yeah. So all right. Well,
We'll get together and see what we can do. See if we can get Smoot back out. We got to check when Vaughan will be away from the racetrack so we can play and
Now,
not
what's
get in
Vaughn
trouble.
got to do with the fact that he comes to the racetrack?
You gotta do it tonight to have more security here.
Smoot did try. Maybe. I can't confirm nor deny. But he might have tried to take some liquor to the drivers' meeting.
Yeah, so that wouldn't go over because I was in the driver's meeting that had a conversation about alcohol in the pits.
Mhm. We drew the line there. We were like, let's
see,
let's
Vaughn-
not push it.
But see, Vaughn gets upset with people that don't do like it's supposed to because he almost got run down by a car out there trying to.
You're never gonna live that one down.
Which one?
The guy.
Yeah, that's why I said which one.
Oh, touche. We've decided nobody wants your job.
No, everybody thinks being a boss is all good.
No.
Being a boss is-
We got some a user says Riley Music is going to Dominion this week, so that'll be interesting. I've seen them post that. It was an announcement the other day.
That's gonna be interesting. We'll be running with those guys.
We're excited.
I hope he does well.
You don't really mean that.
I hope he does well.
All right, well, Erin, we appreciate you coming out here and being a part of it, giving us an update on Ricky Smoot.
That's what I'm here for.
Remember what I told you?
What was that?
What?
Logo.
Oh, yeah. See, I already forgot.
And we'll give you one to church too. So.
Yeah, I already have it down on the order list.
Okay. All right.
Come on in, Justin.
Let's get the big
Justin.
wheels in here.
All right.
Let's get the big wheels in here. Justin and Vaughan. Going to talk a little Hampton Heat. A little early to talk Hampton Heat since we're not going to be here this week, but we thought. Justin, first of all, I want to say.
10 days tomorrow. It's not early.
Well, see, the thing about it is we're not going to be here the next Tuesday night to do it then. So, but anyway, I want to say something to Justin and his safety crew. I really appreciate your guys. I really do.
Do you know by firsthand knowledge?
Yeah, a whole lot of firsthand knowledge. Laying out there on that racetrack is not fun.
The guys are definitely an exceptional group of guys. Like I told you before on the show, they have probably close to combined experience, 100 and some years of experience altogether between the team of 18 guys. So they have a vast knowledge of what goes on, what they need to do, how they need to do it. So it's
They were there. I mean, I hit the ground and I had somebody at my head. It seemed like right on top, and I may have been out of it for a second.
I mean, that was an exciting night. I mean, because the Smiley's bus caught on fire that night too.
That was all going on at the same time.
Yeah. So
Was that the same time?
Yeah, same time.
they divide and conquered that night, so it was great.
I came out. They put me on the golf cart to take me to my car, right? And the guy was laughing because we come through. The Smiley's bus had been on fire, and Chuck was standing going.
What a night.
Technically, it's called a thermal event. You never want to say that word fire across the radio. So it's a thermal event they had it going on at that time.
Is that like the
You know
Yeah,
what?
code
When
word.
I was laying on the ground, I felt
Yeah.
like I was having a thermal
I
event.
bet you did. sure that concrete wasn't, or that asphalt wasn't cool at all.
No, the asphalt wasn't cool. My knee, I hit my knee, busted my knee all to pieces.
Yeah.
I had blood running all down my knee. And
Like I said, in the past, I mean, the safety team here at Langley has been by far probably one of the best groups I've ever had to work with. And when you go out other tracks, you'll see, I mean, sometimes you see great other safety teams, but, you know, you always are appreciative of when you come back home.
well, I've talked to the guys that were part of that.
That saved your life.
Yeah, well, no, they didn't save my life. I wasn't dying. Though for a minute I felt like I was, but I wasn't. No, but I'm gonna have them on the show. I'm gonna bring them on the show and talk to them. I mean, you know, they need some, you know, they need some exposure.
Yeah,
I don't know what's
absolutely.
going on.
Without a doubt.
And I think, you know, being as like they were.
You need limited exposure.
Well, I
It's not exposure.
talked to Juston Kern last night.
I got in trouble for saying something about it. I'm just saying.
You was just in a long line of everybody talking about it. But I tell you what, I looked up. I had Christine there. Paul was there. All the safety people were there. So I knew I was in good shape with that. I mean, I wasn't going to check out.
How old are these people? Jody says got over 246 years of combined experience.
Well, you're talking about 18 guys. So, I mean,
Oh, is
you're
it that
talking
many?
about 18 total guys on the team.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
So that's
but
reason. I mean,
but he gave me the five or so that was involved with me.
Yep.
And that's who I'm going to bring on the show.
that was the core group of 5 that we ran, that Langley ran that night. So
So
most
you have
time
like
we-
a rotating crew every week? Or?
Most of them are all paid professionals, so they have a split shift. So it depends on what shift is working in the cities at that time, what
Mhm.
shift you get. So
Mhm.
there's some nights that we're overstacked because some of the A and C shift are off, or B shift's working, or vice versa. So it just kind of rotates. That's the reason why you have so many guys on the team.
Gotcha.
Another thing.
Guys and
this
gals.
Track has, a lot of tracks don't have
Oh, I know.
the professionalism that you had out there with them guys and you.
Yeah, no, you know, I've worked with them side by side, and I've also been a recipient of their care many times out here racing.
That's the time you were racing Scott.
I'm sure probably if we go back, there's probably one time or two he's put me on a path towards the safety team.
Not Scott.
All right, let's talk Hampton Heat. So we'll talk to Vaughan first. What all you got going on for Hampton Heat? I know you got a lot of special things going on around.
Oh, we got a lot of things happening right now. So obviously everyone knows the second leg of the Triple Crown with us in South Boston, Martinsville. 200 lap, 10,000 to win. I can tell you right now, we'll probably get at least what I have for the driver entry list out tomorrow. And right now we are officially at 35 cars.
Wow.
And I'm pretty sure there's going to at least be one more, maybe a few of the surprises. We're right on the edge where we got about most of them put together. So we'll go ahead and get the list out tomorrow. But it's going to be the largest field we've had in a number of years. I believe the largest we ever had was 38 in 2014. So it's going to be a big field. We kind of had a hunch that it was going to happen after how many cars showed up at South Boston. They had 47 to enter. We normally end up around 8 to 10 less than South Boston, so that math still is in play right now. So it's going to be a good race. I'm excited. We got a lot of things planned.
Let's don't have a parking lot down there in their home.
Yeah, no. Well, the good thing is we don't have this. We don't have that inside retaining walls, so that'll help. And the track's a little bit wider, a little bit slower. So hopefully they all use their brakes.
No brakes that night.
No, there was not. I was right in front of it when it happened.
How about-
Believe me.
How about Mark Worth getting through it twice? I mean, getting through two
I mean,
instances twice.
I'd rather be lucky than good any day.
I mean, he just eased right on through that.
If you almost look, he in some ways, I haven't talked to Mark about it yet, but it looks like he even got pushed through. There was a car behind. Mark's wanting to get the inside lane. He had the shot, but a car came up behind him and really pushed him through, and that car behind him was the one that did not get through. So you wonder
Close the gap.
if that guy who pushed him got him through a little easier than he would have on his own. But no, that was an incredible wreck. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that at that type of track.
That was a big deal. That was unbelievable. So what else we got going on around here? You got all kinds of good stuff, I'm sure, lined up to keep everybody occupied.
We do right now. We also announced the addition of our brand new lights a couple weeks ago that are coming to the track. They're working behind them now. They can come this weekend. Obviously, when you come to Hampton Heat, you'll see they've made a lot of progress at getting these new Musco lights up. It's going to be so cool when they turn these things on, man. I'm so excited.
It's going to be a big deal to have those type of lights and everything here because.
I mean, how many other small facilities like us would have those lights?
Almost none. The other track I know they've done recently was Jennerstown.
Okay.
They got these same lights. They did that this past year, so they've had them for this season. And these lights have been used mainly in refurbishments. You've seen in probably like a lot of NFL stadiums, a lot of college stadiums, big time schools. They've all been doing their LED upgrades. And we'll have the state-of-the-art stuff just like them.
Well, this track being, not a big track, it's a small track, you didn't have to use all the things that they do on the big tracks when they put those Musco lights in. So with the mirrors and flashing it on.
No, so the technology over, let's just say the past 30 years, like, from when, Charlotte made that big jump, is changed drastically. You don't need as much firepower anymore. For instance, at Richmond, ballpark in my head, they're around 250 to 300 fixtures to light that track. And our track, a little more than half size, will take 54. So that's how much the technology's changed. You don't need all these poles. You don't need all these low lights. The one thing that does help us is we don't have banking. When you have banking, you have to light the cars a little different.
Oh, really?
Because you have to light up the track. If you just went down, there's a lot more shadows that get created by the cars. So for us with the flat track, that really helps. The other thing I know a lot of people have been asking is why are some of the poles inside? Why can't they just be on the outside? Well, the idea is, where are you watching the race from? You're watching from the grandstand, the TV cameras, everything faced from the grandstand. So the idea is that all the light is being pushed in front of you. So there's no shadows from your view.
So how are these lights on the backside here? How are they going to reflect down onto the track? Because don't you have to shoot them up over the?
So they'll light the grandstand. That was one of the things that we did just as a safety thing, a way to light the pass, not make sure they're in total darkness. So the grandstands will be lit just like when you go to Martinsville or Richmond. So that'll be a nice.
That also lights the front stretch.
Correct. Correct. And the poles are 90 feet in the air.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take a lot for them to get to the track. They'll be pretty high up. And I mean, like I said, they've got this thing down to a science where they can, maneuver by inches on the ground where they want it.
Are they here every day working, or is that something they're coming in for a few days and then?
Just about. The company is doing it. They've got multiple jobs right now in the area. So, they'll come here, they'll work for 2 or 3 days, and they're going to go do the next step at another job. And a lot of it's different contractors coming in. You got the concrete guys, they come pour the foundations, and the next step is the boring guys got to come in when he can and do all his work, and the electrical guys come behind. I mean, it's like building a house. It's not one company that does the whole job start to finish. It is a group of multiple companies that come in and put these things on.
Well, I think I can't wait for it. Scott won't be here, but I'll be here. But I can't wait.
Yeah, and they come on. They'll be here for the first night will be the Wheel and Modified Tour race on August 27th. So that'll be a good one.
That'll be great. All right, tell us a little bit, Mr. Race Director. What kind of things you got going on for the big race?
Nothing.
Nothing's changed. You're gonna do the same.
Nothing.
It's gonna be a good day to be at the racetrack.
Gonna be a good day at the racetrack.
I knew it was coming.
Definitely will be a great day at the racetrack. I neither can nor confirm nor deny.
So if I ask you questions, you can't confirm or deny.
I can. I'll give you the answers, straight up answers, all the answers that I know. I'll be more than happy to give it every answer that possibly can give you. So.
All right. Well, I've had a couple people send me questions.
I'm sure.
I don't know what they're talking about. It's saying,
most race directors don't know either, so it's okay.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't know what. Well,
Yep, I got you.
First question is, will there be a draw for tire distribution order to avoid chaos?
Mass chaos? Yeah, more than likely we are. That was one of the things I've been working with the tire guys about. most of the time on Fridays when they show up. Of course, we try to knock out race tires immediately, and then we'll go to practice tires after that as much as possible. Biggest thing is we know all the tires, all the teams that are coming from out of town, they have to have tires. Most everybody else is either on American Racers or F50s, so it's a different compound what we have here. So they have to get an F45. That's one of the reasons why we don't see a lot of cars test last year and or this year, because we hadn't had the opportunity to sell tires. So tires is a big issue throughout the entire United States. Almost every racetrack is dealing with the same issues we have. So we have been able to bide our time and collect tires throughout the year and make sure that we protect our racers from weekly racing, from week to week, and then also prepare for our big show as well. So
How do you go about keeping a track of all this? I mean, some weeks you might get some tires and some weeks you might not. And
So there's a lot of work. There's a lot of lobbying behind the scenes, trying to get your hands on as much inventory as possible. A quick synopsis of that process is the Monday after a race weekend, we go in, count the tires, basically see what's there. Then it's, waiting to hear from Hoosier about what we can get in. So we'll take that information. I will pass it on to Juston, and then Juston will determine the best outcome for distributing tires that week based on the schedule, not just what's racing that upcoming week, but what do each division's schedules look like, let's say, for the next 3 to 4 races, trying to plan that far ahead with the inventory they could have, planning for the worst and hoping for the best at the same time. So that's kind of the way we go about it.
all right, now one of the questions I got hit with a couple times was about the U cars. And we all know
this is the Hampton Heat Show.
well, we're talking tires. So
They raced that night.
Thanks for reminding me.
No. I didn't know I stepped out of bounds.
No, you asked me to come on the show because of the Hampton Heat.
Well, I'm giving you a question. I'm giving you
I understand. I've talked to a lot of the U-Car drivers over the last couple of weeks. Unfortunately, when they're in production, we can't do anything about it. I'd love to give the tires. Trust me, the track would love to sell the tires to the guys every week. I mean, that helps bottom line at the racetrack. I mean, you don't make much money on tires, but when it comes down to it, I mean, we would love to see cars have tires every week.
So it's a production issue. I mean, it's nothing you can handle.
We don't know because we don't work at Hoosier, so we don't know what the outcome is. That's information that we're not privileged to. It's information that they come to us and say, okay, I know you've asked for 150 tires, but this week we can only send you 25. They have production schedules they have to make and meet and everything else, so we don't really know the concept.
All right, how do you go about? All right, let's say they tell you they're going to send this amount of tires, but you need this amount. How do you go back and cut back and say, are you getting 2 tires this week or 1 tire this week?
Well, Langley's been very fortunate over the last couple of years to institute a tire program weekly. So therefore, teams that have unlimited means to purchase tires, it keeps everybody in the same field. That way, a team maybe that's not as fortunate as a high-end sponsored team where they can buy 4 every week, you have to look out for the guy towards the middle of the pack, the back of the pack, or even the ones that are running up there with the tires they have and still being able to be competitive. You have to protect your everybody in the field, not just the teams that can afford it compared to the teams that can't afford it. So we were very fortunate here at Langley back when I think it was Jimmy Walker when his first tour here, and Shane was on down in the tech building. They came up with a tire program that was able to set up where it was 2 tires here, 1 tire here type of deal, so we could control it. Beginning of the year, you could purchase up to 8 tires, and then after that, it was 1 added in every week. Or 5, I think it was 5 to begin with, and then 1 added every week up to 8, and then you had to start culling your tires out.
I was going to say I need to get a few more tires in. We said
Well,
8.
Well, I mean, back in the
I
day,
know
that's
what
what it
you're
was when we had unlimited supply. But, now with times the way they are and everything we're having to deal with from week to week for the track. So it's.
One of the other questions I got asked was, if you're having a problem with Hoosier for those tires, is there any consideration of changing tire brands?
It's not.
I'll answer it. I'll be
whoever.
And the thing about it, it's the same no matter what. It doesn't matter if you're at any other tire vendor, any other competitor of Hoosier. It's the same way. They're having the same issues that Hoosier is. It's the compounds that go in the tire, I guess is what it is, but I'm not sure. So when it comes down to it, it's no matter whether you're at Dominion or here at Langley, whether it's Hoosier or American Racer or McCreary, it's the same thing. It's no matter what. Everybody's on a tire management program every track in order to make sure that they'll protect their weekly racing every week. Unfortunately, that's the way the times have come since 2020, and that's what we had to do. Last year, we saw the outcome of it where we had to go into a tire preservation mode, and it worked for us. We were able to capitalize and stretch the year out so we didn't have to cancel any races. There were some weeks that some teams could not get any tires, some divisions, but in the long run, it may back up where we could get them some tires the week after. So it's just part of the deal.
You spend a lot of time talking with the Hoosier people too.
So I don't personally. That is actually Curtis Hughes. He is the guy behind the scenes that does the most of the communication with Hoosier, really lobbying for our part, letting them know what our schedule is, what our needs are. And then, he's done a lot of work, more work that people don't even know about, really trying to get as many tires here. And he's a large reason why, to this date, through this whole tire shortage, we have not canceled one race due to tires.
That's like I said earlier, you are luckier than most.
Yes.
You run the races, you're running all your races. There are tracks that are not running races, and that's a good thing that you're able to do that. So that's the effort you put into that, or you and Juston put into that to make sure this happens. It works out good. I mean, you do what you have to do. It may not be the most happily taking thing that you'll ever do.
Yeah, last race, the UCAR race, a lot of the teams were very upset because they were running twins and we didn't have tires, and I get it. Some of them are battling on tires that are from last year because some of the tires they've had this year have, gone away, or they've got into an incident and flat spotted one or punctured one, so they don't have another tire. So that we're allowing them to bring tires in as long as they were recorded last year. So some teams are racing on tires that have been on the car for 8 or 9 races, all the way from last year.
Yeah, that's what some of them told me the other night.
And it's a bad deal, and we get it, we understand, and trust me, we would love to sell tires. We have no problem with it, but we can't sell them if we don't have them. So, and then unfortunately, we're just at the mercy of our vendor getting them into us. So, and he's at the mercy of where they're being built at.
Yeah, we got a Phil Warren's got a question. Are you going to put something in front of the lights, the poles on the back stretch? He would hate to see one get knocked down.
So I can't say they're a little further back than you realize from the vantage point that a lot of people have seen them. They're pretty safe, but we are working on a permanent solution to protect all the poles. It's, obviously we want to make sure they don't get hit by race cars, but we've made a substantial investment on the track, and we don't want to see anything happen to that investment. So we will be, putting a lot of things in front. Some things temporary while the project's still going on, and then a more permanent solution once everything's settled in.
It'll be a great big concrete pad out there, but he hit it. That's a problem for them.
Sorry, safety.
That's going to make a mess.
Yeah. Will the race tires or practice tires be distributed first, and at what time on Friday?
As soon as will actually be out this week. The schedule will actually come out completely from top to bottom when the times are. It's going to be very close to the times last year, so the teams that were here last year will have that same opportunity. Basically, I'd like to. I know practice is the most important part of it on Friday. So if we possibly could, we'll probably work practice tires immediately and then switch into race tires right afterwards. I highly recommend that the teams go ahead and knock the race tires out on Friday evening. The garage will be open until 6 o'clock. Same schedule what we had last year. Teams will have to be out of here by 6:30. Track closes at 7. So they'll have tire impound up until that point where they can get their race tires, secure them, get them in there, and be done with them. So, and it takes the stress out of them on Saturday morning, so they don't have to worry about it. So we do leave the tire impound open on Saturday morning in case teams come in late on Friday and they can't possibly work their tires on Friday evening. So Saturday they'll have a chance to get their tires in section because we have a large practice on Saturday as well.
So you keep them in the race tires impounded until
Correct.
Until
Yes.
So all the practice and everything goes on the practice tires, and qualifying will be on the
Sticker tires.
tires.
They're race tires. Correct.
Are only the tires bought that weekend eligible to be used as emergency spares?
Correct. Yes.
Easy.
Near-
Next.
I'm
No.
just reading the questions.
And they will. That's the whole point of making our tire event the way it is. The tires that are purchased here, any large show you go to, it's the same outcome. The tires that you purchase that weekend for that large event are your emergency race tires. And that all that will be stressed highly on Friday and again on Saturday during the driver's weekend. Because I would hate to have a team suffer a penalty because they did not adhere to the rules that were discussed on Friday and Saturday.
How lenient are you as a race director in your
0.
That was like the wrong answer.
Next.
Verbiage.
Verbiage
Okay.
matters.
Okay, I didn't lead into that like I should.
Okay. Next.
We'll work on that for the next one. Just go to the next question.
What is it? What you got?
No,
How lenient?
the car, how, you got cars coming from all over.
Mhm.
And some places have a little differences in some other places.
Okay.
How lenient are you? How do you handle that? Don't tell me how lenient you are. Just handle it.
What part are we talking about as far
I mean,
as what happens on the racetrack, what happens in the driver's meeting?
I'm talking about
there's different
cars
degrees here.
itself. When the car comes in itself.
Okay.
I mean, some cars are different than other cars. That,
Are
let's
you
say a
talking
car
about-
race.
Are you talking about when they come through the tech building?
Yeah.
How lenient we are on that?
No.
When it comes down to it, there is a tolerance that you have to allow to a certain point. But the good thing about it is all of a track, especially in the Triple Crown, we work very closely with each other. So all the cars that came in through South Boston, those tech guys really went through those cars, perfectly. And the report we got back, guys, anything that came here, 100% where it needed to be. So I mean, we have a big group that we talk back and forth weekly about stuff that we see at one track compared to the next track, compared to down in North Carolina. We have a big group text message and email system that we work closely with other tracks to make sure that we are all doing the same thing.
So basically, the late model cars now are basically all the same, all the way
They
around
should be.
because y'all work.
They
I mean,
they
I
should
know
be,
there's
yes.
there's people doing crazy things.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Scott.
Yeah.
I mean,
I haven't got that car yet, so I'm waiting.
You have to finish in the top 3 to get the
Unless we pull a rabbit one night. So, but no, when it comes down to it, the cars that come through the tech building at what they did at South Boston, same way they'll come through here. They'll have an opportunity. We'll try to correct as much as we can, as fast as we can. See it. Well, that's the reason why the inspectors walk up and down pit road. And the inspectors we have coming in to work with us are some of the best in the business.
so you
I
got
would-
extra
Well, that's
people.
what I was
yeah.
going to say. How many people do you bring in to help out officiating so far?
We have a core group of guys that work together. We worked together for many years. It's a great bunch of guys that I've actually had the opportunity to work with and work for. So we have a great group that comes in the group is by far the best that I've ever seen. They are late model stock car professionals when it comes to tech.
So I think you've already.
And we're represented from a lot of different tracks. So it's not just one track that we're pulling everybody in
Right.
from. We have multiple tracks on the East Coast that we're pulling officials in from.
Well, I knew that because
Yeah.
I've seen that before.
Yes, sir.
But I think you've answered this question, but it's another question I got sent to me, so I'm gonna have to say it.
How many of Mason's questions have
We're off Mason now.
Just wrapped it up.
Next.
like
That was just Mason.
I like how you picked on that.
Shocker.
How many tires for Friday practice and how many tires for the race? I think you've already answered that for you.
Did I?
No.
Oh,
haven't
you
yet.
haven't? Oh, I thought you did.
No.
That's been
Yeah,
one of the
well,
questions I'm
you're-
sure that was going to be coming.
All right.
Yeah,
Oh,
what is the
Greer
deal?
just posted how many total tires can we purchase Friday and
All
Saturday?
right, get the exclusive.
The exclusive. Okay. We are going for an 8-tire event. So 4 for race and 4 for practice.
Hey.
That was pretty smart. I figured it. He said I didn't ask that before, but I thought I did. But then,
Mhm.
Because I've been waiting for that question to come up. And like I said, that's been the topic that we have, Curtis, myself, Vaughan, Bill, have been working nonstop in order to try to get everything we possibly can for here. And, it's just one of those things that it made sense to make it an 8-tire race compared to a 10-tire race that we did last year. So it will be an 8-tire race, 4 for the event and 4 for race, or 4 for practice.
And one other thing, doesn't really matter on your side, but there will be no mandatory 15 gallons for fuel. We're also cutting that as well. Just buy as much fuel as you need for the race.
What was the rule?
You had to purchase 15.
It's been 15 in the years past, but collectively, some of the stuff has come up as far as talking about it. It's in order to try to help teams in other ways.
Well,
So-
I can see that. So break it down to us about what we can look forward to as Technica and Tech and getting everybody ready to go that day.
Make sure your stuff
What
is
is your
right.
have to
schedule?
pass it.
What is your schedule? What does your schedule look like for that?
Well, since we've had to kind of change a few things in the ninth inning right now, some of the timings have changed, but that will be posted by Friday. So all the teams have an opportunity to prepare for it, along with procedures as well. We've had to drop back because we were trying to figure out what we were going to do on the tire situation. And believe it or not, it came down to the last batter up at the plate to try to win the game for everybody. And, I think we did. I think what we're doing is the smartest play we possibly can do for the Hampton Heat and to be the second leg of the Triple Crown. So it came down to where we had to make a decision. So some of the timing is going to change a little bit. But as far as Friday practice, teams come in early in the morning. I think practice starts at 2 and goes to 6. I think is what it is.
2 to 6.
I
I think park and hauler is
Yep.
11.
Yep. I think gates open at 8:30 or 9.
Something like that.
Basically the same Friday schedule that was last year is this year as well. And I know that doesn't have the teams that are their first time coming here to Langley as far as part of the Hampton Heat, but all that will be posted out by Friday at the latest, as far as give the teams ample opportunity to make their plans coming into next weekend.
And the Friday plan and the Friday time is already on the website.
Yep.
So, get there. The main time, I don't think they're changing for
Mm.
Saturday either. So, all that's there. We'll just get the nitty gritty minute by minute stuff there by Friday.
What about race during the race?
Mhm.
The different stages or whatever, like they had at other places. How are you going? You going the same thing Martinsville did? South Boston did.
We are Langley Speedway. Next,
He's
I'm just-
popping me good. Isn't he? You noticed this?
no,
And I talk so highly of you. Go ahead.
when I'm not around. Yeah, I get it. So, no, we're actually, there's some things that I need to critique and change because of, it's one of those things that you cannot possibly continue X amount of segments when sometimes you don't need that segment. So we're actually going to change a little bit. I've been working very closely with South Boston, with Chase Brashears at South Boston, and trying to come up with something that is very comparable to what they did, and also working with Lynn Carroll and Shane Laws dealing with Martinsville. So we're kind of all in the same concept of what's going on. I mean, that's the part of it. This is a 3-leg series basically for the Triple Crown. So therefore, we're all trying to come. You have to be your own unique individual
I
track.
understand that.
But I will tell you this: I've told a lot of the guys that have reached out to talk to me, we will do a halfway break. I will tell you that now. No ifs, ands, buts about it, because years ago we had a lot of drivers that fell out during the heat, and it's literally named the hottest race of the year. I mean, that's
America's hottest race.
America's hottest race. So, and I think it's very important when it comes to safety to get the drivers out of the car and get their core temperature cooled down, especially if it's brutally hot like it's been in the past. Last year we were very fortunate. This year, who knows? I mean, you see what the weather's been the last couple of weeks. It's up, down, be cool, could be hot. I mean, look, you fell out a couple weeks ago. So, I mean, you know how I was in that day. And I wasn't even close to the Hampton Heat.
Yeah. Well, do you do something different on the safety side because of the heat? I mean, like I said, a couple of years ago, we had some guys that were falling out of the seat.
Our safety, like I said, our safety team, we are very privileged to work very closely with the city of Hampton, and the guys who make those decisions allow as long as you're prepared or as long as you're educated enough to do those different assignments when it comes to heat exhaustion and heat stroke, as far as some things that you would see in the city, as far as some of the things they can do, we kind of follow the same program here. The doctor in this area has allowed us to work within our scope of practice. So it makes it nice because we have a lot of paramedics that are on our group, on our safety team, So when it comes down to it, the guys are prepared. They start preparing ahead of time to make sure they have ice bags and make sure they have what they need, O2, everything else they need in our safety vehicles to make sure that they're taking
Very
care
well
of the driver.
prepared.
Yes.
They are very well prepared. I will say that.
So, but yeah,
I got to lay in the back of the ambulance for a little bit, so
you know how cool it was, right? And it's been that way for the last couple of years when it comes to the Hampton Heat. It's one of the things we discussed in the drivers meeting on Saturday. Listen, important areas to remember are where the MIC is located, where the safety truck is located, where the driver's lounge is located. Cool spots. If they don't have the option of having that kind of luxury in their trailers, at least they know where they can go to a spot that they can try to cool their core temperature down.
The ambulance was really cool.
And drink water.
And drink water.
And the only problem I had
Start yesterday, please.
Yeah,
Exactly.
start early.
only problem I had with it out there at the ambulance, I had some woman out there, and she was just hollering at me. I ain't gonna call no names. told me she told me, you ain't driving home. You're not driving home. I said, yes, I am. I ain't gonna call no name, but Christine Mackey's her this.
Justin said he pleads the fifth. He ain't saying
She's never yelled at me a day in my life.
Well, I got it that day. I got it that day. All right, Vaughan, tell us what's going on Saturday. The big things, anything going on around the track on Saturday as far as?
Oh yeah, we've got plenty. So obviously, we do things a little different for the Hampton Heat, show wise. So for instance, one thing, we start at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. We don't want this being a midnight event, so we start a little bit early. I put that challenge to Justin last year, and luckily he came through and it worked out well. So we're going to stick with it again this year. So you got your first 3 support divisions will run. We do a mini pre-race before the support guys. So we're going to do a prayer, and then we actually have someone sing "God Bless America." So we'll do our 3 support races. We got Super Streets, Super Trucks, and U-Cars, I believe, are the 3. And then we'll get, once those guys have finished their race, we'll start setting for pre-race. We got the stage coming back with the driver intros, with all that stuff, the dignitaries. We got some small fireworks this year.
Oh.
So that'll be really cool. Close proximity fireworks, so we don't have to do any out of bounds or any
Sparklers, right? That's what you got.
verbiage.
It matters.
Sparklers.
Sure, Justin.
You're holding them.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Perfect.
So that's probably the biggest addition. And then on the back end for our flow broadcast, we do that one in-house. So we're in the process of beefing that up for that event, working with NASCAR, working with Flow to bring some extra equipment in to really make it as big as possible. I will throw out the bat, we will not have instant replay. That is a huge undertaking if you don't have the equipment to do it. And it's a lot harder to implement right off the bat instead of just rolling more cable and plugging in more cameras.
Right.
So that will be the one thing we won't have, but we'll have everything else you'd expect from a major broadcast, and it's going to be good. I'm working on a few different more surprises, trying to get things tightened up, but it's going to be wild. Obviously, we got the trophy that sets on fire. Did that at the end of the night. I did all the planning last year for pre-race and totally forgot to write a minute by minute for Victory Lane, so it was a little chaotic, and I forgot the lighter. See, y'all remember last year I was trying to light the rag in front of Josh Berry, and I burnt my thumb, but so I'm going to remember some kindling this year. Wow. To get that straight, but no, it's going to be good. I got a lot of help coming in from different places, so I'm really excited to get going.
I think it'll be great.
I like the stage idea. I mean, that seemed to me like elevated the whole pre-race thing.
It did, and I learned what I learned last year by having that stage, and we made a few small adjustments on that end. So it'll be even better this year.
Yeah. And before I forget, I got to give a shout out. Dave Millard's watching us.
Awesome.
So what's up, Dave?
Hey, Davey.
Thinking about you, bud.
What's up, man?
Well, that's cool. Well, I think it'll be a great race. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And I have gone to Dominion, and I've gone to another track, and they always say that Langley does put on a good show. they're first rate as far as what they got going on. And I'm not gonna say it was Vaughan.
I will say one more thing, because this is probably the biggest thing for people watching this show that I want to get out, is we need as much parking as we can that night. So what we will be doing for Hampton Heat, and Hampton Heat only, I can't stress this, Hampton Heat only, if you are a crew guy, we will be parking you in the outside pits. Now, we will have it orderly. It will be in certain areas designated, but please do not park in the main parking lots. Please do not park out in the gravel. Let's bring you in, go in your select spot. We'll probably be parking all through the outside pits, unlike what you're probably not going to get your normal spot. I remember last year, Ricky Derrick got very mad at me because I made him not park in his spot, and he told me, I guess he's very superstitious, and was telling me that I've essentially ruined his night. And then Jacob won. So I've given him crap about it every time I see him since. But yeah, when you come in the outside pits and our officials are parking on Saturday, just please go where they tell you. It's about saving space. It's about maximizing, what we have. So just work with us that day. It's the one day of the year. We gotta take up every spot we got. So that's the main one.
And the key thing on Friday as well, when the teams are coming in, they'll enter through turn 2 and they'll stage down the backstretch. Teams, if you want to be parked with your teammate or friend from South Boston or friend from Dominion or wherever you're coming from, biggest thing is make sure you come in through the gates together. Parking in the infield is critical, just like anything else. And I've been a firm believer. One of the guys I used to work with a long time ago told me, said, Justin, if parking goes well, the weekend will go well. And believe it or not, you have a chaotic parking situation, it ruins the whole day. So we're shooting for the best. The last couple of years, it's been very well. But this year, we're having to stack more haulers in the infield. So it's going to be critical, and we're not going to have a lot of space. So, you're thinking 35 cars, possibly 36, 38. So it'll be tight. But the biggest thing is try to leave our fire lanes open. The guys who are parking on Friday do an extremely great job getting haulers in here and stacked the way they're supposed to. So the biggest thing is bringing them in, staging them, because you got to bring certain haulers in certain ways and park in certain areas. So, but the biggest thing is parking on Friday. We get all that situated. Rest of the day of practice will go great. Everything will be perfect, and then we'll shut the garage down that night and get ready for the biggest day of Langley Speedway.
Yeah, it's a big day.
It is.
It is.
It's a long day.
Paul may not get no sleep that weekend.
That's fine.
Sorry, Robert Hibby gave me a 6-pack of 5-Hour Energy. So I will.
So you're good for the weekend?
He'll have 2
Yeah.
left.
Yeah.
I got the rest.
We have a question from the Peanut Gallery.
It's a serious question. Are we leaving haulers in for the race, or are we
Nope.
going to move them out?
Nope.
They will
Got to move them out.
That is a Langley tradition.
Well, that's what I figured. But then you said that you were allowing crew guys to park their cars
So,
out there. So it was
Because
just-
we only have the 3 support divisions,
so you have room left. over.
we'll also be button tight parking those guys in the outside pits. And then we will be using select spots, like on top of the hill behind turn 2, different edges of the property. We'll get the rest of the crew guys in those areas, and those will be marked. And we'll be out there, probably be meeting early on with a couple guys, really making sure everyone gets where they need to be to maximize that space. That's why we're asking everyone just to work with us. If you have a short hauler and you got an extra car with you, we might ask that you park the personal car and then park the hauler right behind it, that kind of deal.
Yeah.
So we're going to pull every trick we can to get as many cars in there as we can.
And that brings another point. Personal vehicles will be allowed to come in, drop stuff off, and then they have to exit the infield immediately.
Yeah, infield's different story.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want all that going on.
No, and then that's
No
the thing.
room
We
for
have a
that.
lot of vehicles that come down during the day. A lot of teams, your weekly racers are bringing stuff in, dropping off, and we allow to bring let the personal vehicle stay into a certain time, and of course everybody has to go out when all the haulers exit that day. But
That also brings up a point.
okay,
Somebody asked me, that was up here one night. Somebody was asking me about the golf carts and stuff on Pit Road down there. How are we going to? To a certain degree, they have to have some of them, I guess. But I don't know. Are you going to limit that? and the usage of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than any other weekly show that we have here.
So you have a thing where they're not supposed to be up and down pit road.
Correct.
Correct.
Anytime there's on-track operations, they were supposed to be staged up by the fuel pump.
Gotcha.
That is the-
See, that's not what I was told, but then you go ahead.
Well, that's the deal. They're allowed to bring their equipment in, drop it off, especially if they're getting ready to race, and then
I got
drop their stuff off and then remove it to the backside.
Right. I understand that.
And
That makes
that's
sense.
even during the day too. I mean, that's up and down pit roads. It's a hot pit road. I mean, even during practice, during the race and everything else, we can't afford to have golf carts and anything else out there because there's too much liability for somebody to get hurt. Especially when maybe a team's having a bad night and they come down hot down pit road one day. You know, it's just, huh? Dogs too?
Yeah.
On leashes? I mean,
We got to work on that.
I heard that too. But anyway, all right. Well, that's all the questions we've got, and,
Wow,
and I
that's an easy night
appreciate
this
your time. Yeah, you
Have the hook easy.
I know.
I know.
you guys did.
Last year we got grilled pretty hard, and this
Yeah,
year
we
it's kind of like, here it is. But I stomped your show last year because you were getting ready to hit me with all the questions, and I answered them all in one shot. So
Yeah, it's like you and Brian Crawford when you came on here. And
we answered the questions politically correct.
you did. I'll give you that.
Here's the biggest thing. If you have a question for me, for Justin, or anyone at this track, call us. If
Yeah.
you've got a complaint, call us.
Call Vaughan.
He posts his phone
Point
cell
is,
number
don't-
online.
Don't post it online. If you got a legit concern or a legit complaint about the track, don't just go complain about it online. Let us know so we can address it and hopefully improve things.
And there's a lot of people does a lot of complaining online about this, that, and the other, and saying this thing's not going right. And somehow or other, I've managed to get myself tied up in a couple of those, and I haven't said a word.
That's
looking
a
at
first.
me?
That's a first. Kurt said you need to answer his phone call. That got
Kurt.
like whatever.
Kirk iPod.
Oh,
iPod.
hello, Kurt.
I guess he's gonna be here next week, so be good to see him and hang out with him a little bit.
Yeah, great guy. Like I think y'all know the story, but we met Kurt years ago at Southern National when Christine and I were down there because he threw a pig in the trash can, and she went down there and said, "Who in the world threw a pig in my trash can?" So that's how their friendship started, and he's never let anybody forget it. So
That's good.
You know, he's a special guy with
Yes.
everything he's done for late model racing.
Correct.
In this area and everything. And I understand he's going to give it up after this year.
Is he?
That's what he told us on the show last time.
Okay.
He was gonna,
We'll see when it happens.
yeah, we'll see if it happens or not. But that's what he said. He was going to spend some time doing some other things. So
Nothing wrong with that. He's given a lot to it. Basically, he's tried to help any and everybody he possibly can
Yes, he does.
since I've known him.
yeah,
So,
great guy.
Yep.
I've been trying to run up with him. I went down to Goodyear one time. I tried to run up with him down there. We were in two opposite boxes from each other, and I didn't know he was over there, and he didn't know I was over there. So we never got a chance to talk. So anyway, well, Vaughan, Justin, we appreciate you taking time out of your day to come here and be a part of this.
Of course.
I mean, it did take out a little lot easier than it did last year, but you know.
I'm good with
I
that.
was expecting the worst because I didn't hear anything from you
Yeah,
this
we hadn't
week.
put anything out. I was expecting like everyone was wanting to know stuff.
Yeah.
I put it out 2 or 3 times. She put it out a couple of times, and I was surprised that I didn't get. But
They're saving it for the weekend.
Yeah.
It's building up. This was just the
Pre.
pre-party.
yeah, best thing you could do that Saturday, just go down there and get that chair down there and
Turn your phone
it
off.
takes
No,
you-
believe it or not, I mean, the competitors that we have, anybody who comes here to Langley are very respectful. Sometimes they get animated, but the thing about it is a lot of people are just passionate about the sport, and we get that. You know, and the biggest thing is most of the time they just want to be heard. Christine told me a long time ago, if you just listen to them,
Or
most
was
of the
that
time-
listen to her?
no, it was listen to them. That was back when I first started over in turn 2, and of course that area over there and the group of folks that come that corner and they come beat on you. What do you want me to do? I'd like to turn marshal here. So, but that's how I got to know a lot of the teams out there. To get to know them, and then they understand who you are, and then you understand who they are. But that's what's built the respect over the last, man, I guess it's been 16 years since I've been here. 12, 16 years in that ballpark.
You said something like that last time.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, but I started over in turn 2. I mean, it was one of those things that, you got to know a lot of the teams and they respect you. So when I started moving from place to place, learning racing here, it became a situation where the teams knew you and knew what you stood for. So therefore, the respect level on both sides were great. So,
Well, I just want to say, and I'm not blowing smoke up both you butts right now, but I want to say we're lucky to have you guys here at Langley. Even you, Justin. And
perfect.
but now, Vaughan, you do a great job with everything you've. I've not seen a guy that's had to face some of the things you've had to face since you took this job here at Langley. I mean, you've had to face a lot of stuff, and you've done a great job.
Thank you.
Only the strong survive.
Right.
That's true.
That's right.
All right. Well, there's no show next week because Scott and I are going to be on vacation next week, not together.
Correct.
Disappointing.
He's going to California. I'm going to Missouri, so we're not going to be nowhere near each other.
Sure.
But
That's their story, and they're sticking to it.
It's a good alibi.
Yeah, right.
I know where I'm going. What do you want to do with you? Anyway, so we'll be back on the 26th, and we're going to have Al Pierce on the 26th. He's going to talk about his new book he just wrote.
Mm.
He's going to come on here and talk about that, and we're going to have Juston Quigley.
Yeah, Wacky Wednesday.
Wacky Wednesday driver.
All right.
He's going to come on next week too. I mean, on the 26th too. And we'll have some others, but anyway. And I want to thank Erin for being here, even though she does create a little trouble from time to time. But anyway, but thank you for your help this week.
Where do you think she came with Mayhem?
Huh?
My kid.
That's a good point.
That was my kid. That wasn't after me. Who was after him?
But it's your kid.
The apple won't fall far from the tree, right?
All right. Well, that's our show for tonight. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Mhm.